What what is up, Buckle Up Podcast Universe fam with Brandon Rush and Mama Rush. We were waiting for Shari Draper to come on, but I just want to give you guys some quick updates. Shari Draper is a friend, lifelong friend of my mom's, and so we're happy to have her on today. We are excited to have her on. We're doing well. We have 4 million viewers / listeners, and we are in 13 countries right now. So we're doing really good. We're about to cross 300 downloads, so I'm really excited about that as well. So we'll have her come on here in just a moment.
Okay.
Hold on, let me pause it. Unless you want to say hello first.
Hello.
All right. All right, now it's going to pause.
Great.
All righty.
Oh, wow. Look at my dear friend. Go ahead, Brad.
Hello, Miss Draper. How are you doing? Welcome to Buckle Up Podcast with Brandon Rush, myself, and my mom, Mama Rush, and we're happy to have you on here. Will you please state your name for the camera? You're live, Mr. Draper.
Absolutely. I'm Shari Draper from Birmingham, Alabama.
Roll Tide, huh?
Yeah, kind of.
War Eagle?
Well, actually, kind of, yeah, because I did go to UAB.
Okay.
But I went to Alabama State first, so the Hornets.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, there we go. Hey,
yeah,
go Hornets.
Yeah, Ricky Smiley, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah, he is from there, isn't he?
Yeah. He went to Alabama State.
Okay, well, look at you guys knowing each other.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
Draper, it is so great to see you, darling. It has been some time.
Yes, it has been, hasn't it?
And you look so beautiful.
Yeah, you do. You look, I like the hair and everything.
Oh, thank you. Well, look, I was sitting here waiting and everything. The school called me. It's on the very next street. I had to go and get Neil. So he's here. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Now, is Neil your son?
Yes. As a matter of fact, this past Monday, what's today? Wednesday. On Monday, the adoption process, Carolyn, was complete.
Oh, congratulations.
I'm officially a mother now.
Oh, yeah, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. You know, Miss Draper, I'm glad you mentioned that. Would you mind kind of telling us about that process?
Yeah, well, it's really interesting. You know, now that he's here, he really doesn't like for me to talk about it too much, so I won't get too deep into it.
You don't have to.
No, I'll talk about it. But about a year ago, the courts gave him to me for some unforeseen circumstances.
Yes, ma'am.
And actually, I met him when he was 6 months old.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, you know, he's been in my life since he was 6 months.
Yes, ma'am.
So the very first time we met, we just clicked.
Yes, ma'am.
And so time went on and things started happening and what have you. But I've taken care of, like I said, since he's 6 months old.
Yes, ma'am. So he already was family.
Yeah. So then we got a lawyer last year, and she did all the paperwork. I did talk with his mother and his father to let them know that I would never keep their child away from them.
Absolutely.
You know, because a child and a mother, I mean, that's just a connection. You just cannot, you know what I mean? You can't replicate that.
Yes,
now, I'm mom, but, you know, I didn't, you know what I mean?
Birth them. Yes, ma'am.
So, so I let them both know that he would always be in their lives. As a matter of fact, after the process on Monday, I took him to see his mother.
Oh, amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. So, but he's a really good kid. And I tell you, Brandon, I honestly, I'm hoping that he turns out as good of a person, a man, as you are.
Oh, thank you so much,
So
Ms.
I'm
Draper.
not sure what Carolyn did, but I hope to replicate that.
Yeah, well, you know what? It wasn't just my mom; it was my father too. So I had to give them
absolutely.
both credit.
No,
Yes,
I don't forget about Dave. He was my good
you
friend
really
as well.
knew Dave too.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Yeah,
and
he was my good friend.
Yeah. Oh, yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. I want to say one thing. I always quote this because I've been taken in by families myself. And then some of my best friends, I'm Uncle B to their kids. And the saying I always say is this: family isn't always blood relatives.
Exactly.
It's anyone that loves you unconditionally.
That's right. Absolutely. And I love him unconditionally.
Yes, ma'am.
Hold on 1 second. Okay, he's making hot dogs. Okay, pour the hot water in the sink, Janelle. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No,
you're good.
I don't want him to get burned. Ooh.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
But you want to put us on hold?
No. He's doing okay.
Because he's coming. He just got home from school, and I can only imagine he's hungry.
And he's sick.
Oh man.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, he's sick. He wasn't feeling well, so I had to go and get him.
Understandable. It's like that sometimes.
Yes.
Well, at any point, if you need to stop, just feel free to stop. We can pick it back up later. Yeah.
No, we're good.
But Draper, I was telling Brandon, how much you have meant to me. I mean, as she almost became a sister to me when I was in Richmond, Virginia, and so many things were going on. But the thing I always laugh about, and I want Shari to tell about it, we both were pharmaceutical reps. Shari, please tell about the adventure of
I was
me.
wondering if we were going to talk about that.
Then we want to go from your history, your roots, all the way to Virginia back. So we'll do that. But go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So Brandon, I was sort of an OG rep, right?
Yeah, original
So
gangster. Okay.
Yeah, you know, so we were at St. Mary's Hospital. And I got on the elevator, and no, I saw you in the parking lot. I think
That's
you were
right.
kind of struggling with her samples and what have you. And because, you know, in that industry, when you see someone that looks like you gravitate, right?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
So I went to her and I was, you know, just trying to ask her if she needed help and what have you. We talked a little bit. She got on the elevator and she just looked scared out of her mind.
Yes,
which I can certainly understand, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And so from that day on, we just clicked and we just became very, very good, lifelong friends.
Amen. That's what I like to hear.
Met in the parking lot at St. Mary's Hospital.
That's where it was. And what was so interesting about that, it was the first day out of training, and I was steady there trying to put my samples in the bag and just I really wanted to crawl into the trunk of the car. Into that van. I just really wanted to crawl in and fold up, but I knew I had the training for it. And so I knew we were going to meet, and she could see me and driving out. She said, "This something I'm gonna help her." And that's what I loved about her. She came right away and she said, "Oh, okay, just go ahead. It's gonna be fine." And the Lord sent Draper, and I always call her by her last name, as a guardian angel for me that day.
Yes, ma'am.
Because it was my first day in territory. And from that day that we got on she got on the elevator with me and everything. And I went in and it was like, your guardian angel is here. I could hear the Lord say that she's here. And you just go on in there. She told me, you go on, you're going to do just fine. And I knew that the Lord sent you on that day, Draper, and you just been a dear friend to me.
Yes, yes.
So,
and it's a daunting process because, you know, we always think of doctors as being, you know, so high and mighty and, you know, it's a little scary. And to think that you've got to go in and talk to them about your product and hopefully sell them. Yeah, it was a daunting process. So.
Yes, ma'am. Well, Ms. Draper, I want to say two things real quick. The first one being where I got my work ethic from, which I'll make it short, is when I was in high school, I used to see my mom at nighttime when I go to bed. She'd be up all the way. I go to sleep around like 10 o'clock, whatever. She would have been working up all throughout the night, studying for pharmaceutical stuff and everything that she had to do in order to get that done. By the time I got up to go to high school the next morning, she'd be still studying and doing that work. So by me seeing that is where I developed my never give up attitude. Actually, my dad too, because he taught me other things. But I saw her work so hard, and I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for my brother. But for myself, seeing my mom struggle like that is why I work as hard as I do, and why I push myself as hard as I do, and why I don't give up. So that was the first part of it. The second part is, it's interesting that you said that you guys are preparing for these doctors, because all these doctors now are trying to come on the show. Yeah, and then hit my phone up like crazy, to say the least. But it's interesting that the dynamic has changed a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, doctors, some of them actually used to say things like, you know, I want to be a rep because you guys make more money than we do.
Oh, wow.
And some of us actually did. Yeah.
And she was a top rep in the region.
Okay.
Draper was. And I became, I guess, number 11th in region eventually, and moved fast because I had only been there for a short period of time. But we always talk about relationships in life, and tell about the relationships that you've had with the industry, the relationships you've had with people, because you have so many friends. And I always tell Brandon about that.
Wow. I guess I always kind of compare my time in my career in Richmond and my time in my career here in Alabama. And it's so different.
Really?
Because, oh my God, it's so different. It's a mindset of the physicians. You know, in Virginia, they were my friends.
Yes,
you know, Dr. Green, Dr. Jackson, Dr. Bonner and you know, these guys were our friends. We could go in and just kind of kick it with them, right?
Yes, ma'am.
We felt comfortable with them. Even a lot of the white doctors. Remember Dr. Jeter?
Dr. Seaman. Did you ever have Dr. Seaman or Duckworth?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah,
they're our
so
friends. We know them.
yeah, we
Mhm.
actually talk to these people, very comfortably.
Yes, ma'am.
And we've had people, talking about Dr. Castellucci. I don't know if you remember
Yeah,
Dr.
I met
Castellucci.
Dr. Castellucci.
Have
Yeah.
had dinner at his house,
Uh-huh.
and but here it's like you're the child and they're the higher end adult. I
Oh,
mean, it's like
wow.
just think of it as being in the deep South, and
It-
how people view an African American woman coming into your white office to talk to you about a drug. You know what I
yes,
mean?
ma'am.
It's like there is just it's very different. It's not easy. It's not very comfortable.
Uh-huh.
You feel there's a lot of intimidation there,
Certainly.
but you get the job done because you know what
Yeah.
you're doing. You know what
Yes,
I mean?
ma'am.
You get that job done.
Miss Draper, hearing you say that got me so fired up because I love it. In Alabama, they think they're all that. Like
Yeah.
that's interesting. Well, I'll make sure they're not on the show.
Yeah, well, yeah,
But all
it's
of them
really
may have like a good
it's
portion.
just kind of hard to put my finger on. Just think of the deep South.
Yeah, I hear you
Okay,
loud and
you
clear,
got
Miss
me.
Draper.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear
Enough
you.
said.
I hear you loud and clear. I just think it's funny because no one should ever think that they're better than somebody. My dad always said that don't ever act like you're better than somebody. I treat the CEO, I treat the janitor with the same
Yeah,
level of respect I treat the CEO.
absolutely.
So no one should have a big head or think they're all high and mighty because I guarantee you, even some of my doctor friends are the top doctors in the world,
Yeah,
and they don't act like that with anybody.
They're on
but,
TV.
but see, that's a different mindset. It's a
It
different
really
mind. It probably
is.
grew up differently. Let me give you a quick story.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
was watching something the other day. This it was a white guy, and he was talking about. And you guys may have seen it on Facebook, but he was introducing his family. His family was very diverse: black, white, mostly black, though, right?
Uh-huh.
So he had grown up in North Carolina. His mother and father divorced because his father was very controlling.
Okay.
So they divorced, and then she went and married a black man, and of course that didn't set well with the father. So he went to court, got custody of this young man. Well, he indoctrinated this young man into um, thinking that black people were down here and they were up
Oh,
there, and you
wow.
had to treat them a certain way, and they weren't this and they weren't that.
Mhm.
So his mother started coming to visit. He finally got was able to come and visit him, and she would take him to see his other side of the family, the black side of the
Yes,
family.
ma'am.
At
Yes.
first, he didn't take very well to it because he had been, told that,
Indoctrinated. Yes, ma'am.
yeah, he had been indoctrinated. So as he said, as he continued to come and take him over and introduce, he said all of the things that his father had taught him, he saw it differently. It
Yes, ma'am.
wasn't true.
Yeah.
And he just turned into a totally different person, loved that side of the family, loved his sisters and brothers.
Yes.
And bottom line, when you indoctrinate something into a kid, whether it's good or it's bad,
Yes,
that
ma'am.
kid will take it on in his life or her
Yes, ma'am.
life. And then they have to make a decision as to how
If-
they're going to handle it going forward.
Yes, ma'am. You're
Yes.
speaking the absolute truth on that
Yeah,
matter.
yeah.
The one.
So,
Oh yeah. Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Finish that.
Well, no, I was just going to tell you. Speaking of the Deep South, Brandon, I'm a child of the. I grew up in the '60s,
Oh, yes. There's civil rights. I mean, civil rights. Should be segregation.
civil rights era. Yeah,
ma'am.
absolutely.
Right.
And I did a podcast for NPR
Okay.
years
Okay.
ago, and so I talked about this on NPR, and that was when I was a little girl, and it's still in my mind. And I could see myself right now sitting on the front porch with my grandfather and my grandmother. And my grandfather had his shotgun
Oh, wow.
sitting up beside the chair, right? And I remember saying, I said, Daddy, what are you going to do with that gun? And he says, I'm going to shoot Bull Connor if he comes through here.
What?
And he was serious because
Yeah.
back then,
Yes.
the men had to protect their communities because we had a police chief by the name of Bull Connor who was going around. He was bombing the black communities.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. They were going around. They were remember they bombed the church with the
Yeah,
little
yes, ma'am.
girls. And
Alabama now.
so Condoleezza Rice, she grew up in an area called Titusville.
Okay.
that's not too far from where I grew up. Her father got together and got all of these guys because he was a minister.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
so he pulled all the men in the community, and they were like on night watch every night.
Holy smokes. Yeah.
Kind of sort of like if you think back to Black Panthers.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
That's what they did.
Amazing. Protect the community
It
and
was
family.
about
I respect
protecting the
it.
community, but people were intimidated by that.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
know? So yeah. I
Well,
don't want to get too deep, but yeah.
No, you're good.
no, we keep it light.
Yeah.
Growing up in South Carolina, the same type of thing. But the reason I didn't know about it as much in South Carolina, though we lived in a Black community and all, my grandfather, who was a minister and a professor at Benedict College, or university now, never let us go outside our fence to play.
Oh,
He
wow.
wanted to teach us the way of being right by people, having positive relationships with people.
Sure.
And so we never saw that color thing, because I can tell you an example of that. My sisters had to take clothes to a washer rat or some kind of laundromat in South Carolina. Never forget it, Columbia, South Carolina. And I might have told you this story, but I don't think the listeners have heard this story.
Yeah.
And so they were taking the clothes to be washed at the laundromat. And sure enough, they came back with the dirty clothes. And so they said, "Mom, we can't wash the clothes today." Now, this is their first real experience. And they said, my mom said, "Well, why can't you wash the clothes today?" They stated to her, "There is a sign in the window that says no colors. And Mama, we have colored clothes in the bag."
Oh, wow.
Or in the basket. So they thought they were referring to the clothes, not them.
Yeah.
So that's why they brought the clothes home.
Yeah.
And I said, wow. But I was so glad that my grandfather and grandmother taught us, and parents taught us to love people, to do the right thing by people. And those relationships, I think our parents taught us as young kids, your parents and my parents, to not just look at the outside of man, look at the inside of the man. And I think that relationship carried on with us when we went to Virginia, and we were able to bond with the offices, the office staff, from the front desk to the nurses to the doctors. You had the same type of skills I had. You had or have. We never overlooked people, period. And so that's why we could get appointments when other reps couldn't. And it always,
they love Carolyn. They
Oh,
love
yeah.
Neil
too.
Yes,
And so with that said, I never forget one of my managers said to me, "Carolyn, can't you take some of the reps, your teammates with you, and let your relationship transfer to them?" I said, "It doesn't work that way. I'll be happy to take them in, but they have to form their own natural relationship, because it's not about pseudo, it's not about pressure, it's about first showing that you love them, you appreciate the business, you appreciate the not the teachers, but the children, not children, whether some doctors were, pediatricians were, but some of their patients, let's just say the word patients. Some of their patients, and you love the way they treated their patients. So we knew what we were looking at. And then we came with a knowledge, because we learned our work in school. I always said I didn't sell sex, I sold science. So I wanted to make that clear when I went in. But the relationship we had, and that's why I talked about relationships first, because I think that's very important in life. And I think that comes from our upbringing. And maybe in the South, we did experience some things, and that mindset is still present. But I thank the Lord that we now have beautiful friends, and the world is trying to change and get better. And we know it will with God's help. So with that said, I want you to talk about your trip. You went to South Africa.
Oh my God.
Please share that with everyone.
Brandon, I almost didn't go.
Okay.
Because I was afraid, you know, how these planes all of a sudden were falling
Oh
out.
man,
You know,
yeah.
all this airplane stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I decided I was going to go to my doctor and see if I could get an excuse so I could get my money back. You know,
Yes, ma'am.
but that wasn't going to happen, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So then I talked to several people, talked to a friend of mine who's been back and forth to South Africa and, you know, on the continent several times, right? He works for USAID. And so he traveled there all the time.
Okay.
And he talked to me about it. And he said, Sherry, you know, think about these planes go back and forth daily. I mean, hundreds of flights. The odds of you falling out of the air on an air, it's just they're extremely low. You're probably safer in there, you know. So he talked to me about it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So I said, well, you know what? I talked myself and I went.
Yes, ma'am.
It was the best decision ever.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
South Africa is so beautiful.
Yes, ma'am.
So we first landed in Cape Town. We did
Okay.
Cape Town. Went
Yes,
over
ma'am.
to Robben Island where Mandela
Okay.
was imprisoned.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
we did that. We went to a place called Table Mountain, which is a mountain that's kind of flat and it's really nice, and you can overlook Cape Town. And Cape
Okay.
Town it's on the edge, it's on the water,
Yes,
and it's
ma'am.
absolutely beautiful.
Okay.
So that was my experience there. But my experience in Johannesburg was different in a good way.
Yes, ma'am.
So Johannesburg is breathtakingly beautiful.
Yes, ma'am.
It reminds me kind of a combination of California and Atlanta,
Okay.
but bigger, right? So that was a beautiful part of it. But of course, there was a sad part because when we went over to Soweto, it was just heartbreaking.
Okay.
So it's just the way the people live there. It's night and day.
Yes, ma'am.
But you know the history. You know how the British
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
overtook and but it was just so beautiful, and I felt like I was home.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
You know, I even had people. Some of the men were like, "Welcome home." You know,
Okay. Awesome.
welcome home. And so got a chance to go to Mandela's house
Okay.
the one where he died.
Yes, ma'am.
It's in a beautiful, I mean, breathtakingly beautiful area.
Yes, ma'am.
And so while we were there, his grandson walks out.
Okay.
So the tour guide, he said, "There's his grandson." So he had come out. A young lady had come up in an Uber, and
Yes,
he went
ma'am.
out and got a little bag, as you know, and she was going to spend the night or whatever.
Yes, ma'am.
So I got a nice picture of him.
Oh, great.
And then when we were in Soweto, we went to the street that it's the only street in the world
Yes,
where
ma'am.
there are two Nobel Peace Prize winners lived on the same street.
Oh
That
wow.
was Desmond Tutu and Nelson Mandela.
Oh,
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
So
pretty awesome.
it was an absolutely beautiful experience until you saw like the shanty towns and that was just very heartbreaking.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. But the experience, I'll never forget it. And as a matter of fact, I'll go back.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Yeah,
There's-
I'll go back.
Sorry.
how long was the trip?
7 days. We were
Okay.
there for 7 days. Yeah.
And how long was the flight?
The flight was about 16 hours.
Ooh, that's a long flight.
Yeah, but it wasn't bad though, because when we flew out of Atlanta, we flew into Amsterdam. So we had a 2-hour layover in Amsterdam.
Okay.
And then we went into Cape Town. But coming back, it was a straight 16 hours. But you leave at night and then you fly into the next day.
Okay. Oh
Yeah.
wow, amazing.
So
Yeah, so it was not bad at all. So
Okay.
most of the time.
Yes, ma'am. Well, Miss Draper, hopefully she doesn't kill me, but there's this actress I'm really close with from South Africa. Her name is Nicole Besic. Hopefully I said that right. Hopefully Nicole Besic, because I know she's gonna kill me or basic. She's gonna be on this podcast. She's a really famous actress in South Africa, and she's originally from Johannesburg. I believe she's from Cape Town, but she lives in Johannesburg, and she's done she's been the series regular like 3 different Netflix films. She has a new one coming out now, but she's been telling me, Brandon, you need to come over here and visit. Like she's like saying that, so I'm gonna have to go because she's been telling me for 4 years.
Brandon, you will love it.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, it's so beautiful.
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
not even funny.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Did you
yeah.
go on a safari while you were there?
Yes, yes.
Okay, tell me about that.
We did a safari.
Mm-hmm.
So we left about 6:30 in the morning. Okay. So it was still, it was about dusk. And funny thing, as we were going, this is just kind of that American mind, that Americanized in me, right?
Yes,
So
Uh-huh.
ma'am.
as we were going, I saw all these people walking. They were just walking. So I asked the driver, we went on an Uber. So I
Mm-hmm.
asked the driver, I said, where are these people going?
Mm-hmm.
That was so dumb of me. That early in the morning. Of course, they're going to work, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So he said, "Oh, they're going to work." So then my next question was, "Well, don't they have transportation like buses or cars, maybe?" And he said that the transportation system, I don't know if they don't trust it. It's something about it that they don't take the transportation system.
Okay.
But what they do is they walk to these little buses,
Yes,
little
ma'am.
vans, and they
Mm-hmm.
have all. And I mean, they're crowded up in there. They're knee deep up in those
Oh,
vans, right?
yeah.
And that's how a lot of them get to work. But then many of them walk to work.
Yeah.
And I mean, there were hundreds of people walking
Holy
to
smokes.
work.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably in
But
great shape because of it.
yeah, well, that's something else too. I didn't really see any fat people over there.
Okay.
Well, and
Fat
then the
people of
food.
color.
Oh, and let me tell you this: if you ever go to Cape Town,
Mhm.
please go to this club. It's not a club; it's a restaurant
Okay.
called Gold.
Gold? Is that how do you
G-
spell that? You remember how to spell it?
Gold, just like
Mhm.
that.
Okay,
Gold.
gold. Okay.
Mhm.
Gold. Hmm.
What
And it's family style, but there aren't a bunch of children in there or anything. So it's,
Mhm.
most adults. The long table, and then people sitting there, and then they bring the food out, and family style. Everybody eats the same thing.
yes,
Uh-huh.
ma'am.
But about every 30 minutes, there's entertainment,
Okay.
and
Mhm.
the entertainment was out of this world.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
mean, these people, these dancers, these entertainers,
Mhm.
it was incredible.
Holy
Wow.
smokes.
And then at the very end, after the last entertainment, people in the audience, we got up and we were dancing and doing all the dancing and what. Oh,
Mhm.
it was beautiful,
Yes, ma'am.
absolutely beautiful.
I'm
So
gonna have
just
to go.
gold,
Gold. Yes, ma'am.
LD.
I'm not. I'm. Not, I was talking to Cole, literally, who was in South Africa this morning. Well, I don't know what time it is over there, but I was talking to her this morning. So I'm gonna have to tell her, hey, we got to go here, and then probably a bunch of other places she's gonna show me.
Yeah. Now gold is in Cape Town.
Cape Town. Yeah, I have a feeling she's gonna have me go to both because I know her
Yeah,
family's in one and then she's in the other, but it's probably gonna be both.
How
Brandon,
was
you
the
may
food?
want to live there.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
telling you,
that's
it's that nice. Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see.
Tell me
So
about the food. Was the food good? You know how we both, well, one thing you don't know and listeners might not know, but Draper is a outstanding cook.
Oh wow.
I mean, you
oh,
think my cooking, oh, this child right here can cook.
Yes, ma'am.
I tell you
And
what I
so
cooked
tell me
yesterday
about
when
the
you're
food.
done.
Yeah. Excuse me. Tell me about the food.
The food was good. It really wasn't that different,
Okay.
because we were going to nice restaurants and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
They have KFCs look like on every corner over there.
Okay.
And believe it or not, it tastes different from the KFC chicken here.
Really? As
Yeah,
long
it
as
was
there's no
better.
chemicals in it and stuff.
It was better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's yeah, the food was good. Like I said, it was, just normal stuff. Now, I did go to this really nice mall. I think it was the Mandela Mall. I mean, you're talking about upscale.
Yes,
Woo,
ma'am.
What?
man, that place was so nice.
Yes, ma'am.
There was a Louis Vuitton there. There's a Gucci store there. There was a Zara's. It was beautiful.
Mhm.
But we were talking to, oh, no, no, no. Let me back up.
You're good.
A young lady came to the hotel to braid my Sarah's hair,
Okay.
Mhm.
right? So we were talking to her about the kinds of foods that they eat, right? Some things that
Yes,
they
ma'am.
eat. And one of the things that they eat is, how here in the States we eat pig's feet?
Uh-huh.
I don't.
I do.
I
That's
don't.
my
Said
favorite.
that
Yeah.
really fast.
That's
Well,
my
over
favorite meat.
there, yeah, over there they eat cow hooves.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah. And so we were like, explain the process, the cooking Well, they cook it down so far that it becomes like a kind of, how
Yeah.
the cartilage inside
Oh,
of the,
yes, ma'am. Like bone
kind of,
marrow.
well, not the marrow, but sort of the gushy kind
Okay.
of stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
Kind
I
of
don't.
gelatinous like,
Yes, ma'am.
But then when you think about it too, a lot people over there are so poor.
Yes, ma'am.
They have to eat sometimes what they can. I don't know if you've ever have you ever heard this book, Brandon, called Kaffir Boy?
No, ma'am, I haven't. Would you explain it a little bit?
Yes, Kaffir Boy was written. I can't remember his name, but the name Kaffir is a bad name over there.
Yes,
Like
ma'am.
the N word here, Kaffir is a bad word over there,
Yes,
right?
ma'am. I know that part. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in his book, I read they were so poor that they would take buckets around to the slaughterhouses, and they would collect the blood from from the cows that were being slaughtered, or the
Yes,
pigs or
ma'am.
whatever, and they would go back home and they would cook it to
Oh,
make a soup out of the blood, and that's what they would eat.
interesting.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, that's how poor they are.
Yeah. They had to do what they do for survival.
Yeah. And so yeah, but that's a good book if you don't research it.
I'll have to check it out. Yes, ma'am.
Casper Boy. And what's the guy's name that does the night show? He's from Soweto.
You talking about Trevor Noah?
Trevor Noah,
Trevor
yes.
Noah.
And his grandmother still lives in Soweto, so he comes
Okay.
often to, visit his parents, or his grandmother rather.
Yes, ma'am. Well, when I
Yeah,
have money
yeah.
one day, I'll love to travel as much as I can. But right.
Yeah. Well, one other thing I'll tell you about my trip there. I think this was in Johannesburg. We did so much over there.
Yes,
But I
ma'am.
think this was in Johannesburg. I went to the Apartheid Museum.
Ooh, what was that like?
It was heartbreaking. I broke down and cried. And
Yes,
it
ma'am.
was, I couldn't help it. I mean, I just, it just started, and I couldn't stop it. I mean, I wasn't like boo-hooing, but
Yes, ma'am.
that Apartheid Museum is something else.
Yes,
If
ma'am.
you
Wow.
go, make sure you go there.
Yes, ma'am. I definitely will check it out.
Yeah.
I believe
Heartbreaking.
Nicole Bessick, I think she has a whole entire trip planned for me when I'm there. So she's been.
Yes. Take some time and just do it all, Brandon, because
Yes, ma'am.
it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Now, I don't know if you know, but I used to do TV when I was in Virginia.
Oh no, I didn't know that. Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah, I was a lottery girl.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was the Virginia Lottery.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that was before my farmer career.
Yes,
and of course, once I got into farming, every office I went, and I think sometimes that allowed me to get into some of the offices because people were kind of intrigued at the fact that, oh my God, the Virginia Lottery girl is here.
Yeah, that's amazing. How did you fall into that, and how did you enjoy doing that?
Okay, well, the way I fell into it, I was dating a gentleman, David Walton. Now, have you ever heard the Black Pages?
No, ma'am, I haven't.
Okay, so David and I were, in a partnership, and he used to do this TV show. It was a business show on one of the PBS channels.
Okay.
What was the guy's name? He was a lawyer. Started with an M, more something. I don't know. Anyway, so he would do this business talk show on that particular channel.
Okay.
So one night he wasn't able to do it, and he asked me if I would do it. So I did the talk show.
Yes, ma'am.
I had a lady by the name of Rita Ricks. Do you remember Rita Ricks, Carolyn? Did you know Rita Ricks?
I don't remember her. But anyway, I might have met her though.
Yeah, she's a consultant, and she was a consultant for the Virginia Lottery.
Okay.
So after the show, she asked me, "Would you be interested in?" Because remember Liz, Liz Hayes.
Oh, yeah.
Liz was a lottery girl, but she became pregnant and she wasn't married, so they didn't want that image on the TV. So they
so dumb. Sorry, that's just my opinion.
When you're a younger fella, so
Yes, ma'am.
that doesn't make sense. So go ahead.
So she asked me if I would mind interviewing for it, or auditioning rather, auditioning.
Yes, ma'am.
So I auditioned. Kyle, I can't remember Kyle's last name, but her husband is the general manager at the TV station there, NBC TV station.
Okay.
And then a young lady, and I can't remember her name either, but I know both of them. So we all auditioned for it, and I got the role.
Hey, favor's not always fair.
Yeah, so I got the role. Well, I think I was just more comfortable behind the cameras than they were.
Yes, ma'am. What's interesting about that? It's like, I appreciate you being here. My guy friends have been so scared to come on the show that it's been all women that have been stepping up. And I have had 6 friends. I had 6 guy friends come on here. They're amazing. But it's been all women that have been stepping to the forefront. The rest of my guy friends have some excuse, and his excuse is they're scared, but they don't. I know
nervous about.
Yes, ma'am. But I just think all the women, I've been so proud of all the women that have come on and the men that have been there, the 6 of them, but it's been all women, like yourself included. They're right. They're comfortable in front of the camera or even stepping out of their fear zone and into a different zone. So I appreciate you coming on, and I just had to say that.
Well,
I mean, it's very comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
go ahead, Draper. Go ahead. Shoot.
Now look.
Yes, sir.
See.
Anyway,
I need to give him a break because I know we should to that direction. Neil,
yeah, he's cracking a bottle over there, but yeah. So it's very. I mean, this setup is very comfortable.
Thank you.
Just tell him, you're just chit chatting, really.
I told him that. I told him that from the beginning because I've been friends with them forever. But if they're nervous, I'll let them be nervous. We're moving and grooving.
Yeah, I think it's a thought of a lot of people seeing what they're doing and afraid of making a mistake. But yeah, it's no big deal.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Draper, as you can see, Draper has that beauty, but she has that beautiful speaking voice as well.
Yes, ma'am.
And so it was just a natural for her to be on TV. When I saw Draper for the first time, I said, "Oh, that's one beautiful Black woman there."
Yes,
I mean, when another Black woman looks at another Black woman, and says, "Wow, that's a pretty woman." I guess we in the same boat here. And God just made her like that inside and out. So I am so glad you shared. One thing I want to ask about South Africa. Did you get any spices to bring home? Or could you bring back anything?
Oh, I went to this beautiful winery, right?
Uh-huh.
And I bought 2 bottles of red wine and 2 bottles of white wine.
Uh-huh.
And I bought this salt. And I think it was made in India, I think.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
But y'all, I have never tasted a salt that tastes exactly like boiled eggs.
Really?
What?
It tastes, and when I came home, I tested it on someone. I said, just taste this. And they were like, that tastes like boiled eggs. It was the most unique thing. I don't know what I put it on, but I bought it because it was unique. But yeah, I went to this beautiful winery, and the wines were just absolutely beautiful. I mean, just magnificent wines.
Oh.
Well, I'm trying to sneak them back into the States, right? Trying to put one of my bottles of the red wine in my bag that I was shipping.
Mm-hmm.
No, that I was carrying on, because I put the other ones in the bag that I was shipping back on the plane.
Yes, ma'am.
And I put that one. I don't know what I was thinking. I wish I'd put one of the white wines in there. But anyway, when it went through, they saw it and they pulled it and
made you
put it in
toss
the
it.
trash.
Oh, that's
But
brutal.
I still have one.
Okay.
I bought 2 of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
but no,
Kind of like no, sorry. I meant to that's devastating. I bet you wish you did pack that. And then I did have one other question about South Africa, just about going over there. Did you have to get a visa or anything for that to travel with that?
No. A visa is when you're gonna stay.
Okay.
I have to get a passport.
Oh, that's why you use your passport.
Just a passport. I had to get a passport, and I had to get some shots.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got I can't remember the name of them. So I had to go to the health department, and the nurse practitioner that did my shots and what have you, she said, "Look, you're going to need these malaria pills also."
Ooh.
So I didn't need the malaria pills.
Okay.
Yeah, even only if you're going into bush-like places.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, maybe if I go to Ghana, I may need those.
Yes, ma'am.
But otherwise, no, I didn't need that. But yeah, you do have to have your shots.
Okay, thank you so much for letting me know that, because I had to with the United Kingdom, I had to get a whole entire visa for that, a visa or something. I had to fill out all kinds of documentation for that because, I had to do that in order to go, because you can't just use a passport. As of I think that's either January 2025 or January 2024. You're not required to. You have to get, there's some kind of document. It only costs $20, but I had to get they needed my passport and all that, and they had to approve it.
Okay.
So you can't just use a passport to go to the United Kingdom anymore.
Well,
as an American.
Well, now you have to have this star thing on your driver's license, star ID.
Okay.
Yeah, because now if you're traveling, you have to have the star ID, or you can use your passport.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
But most people don't have passports.
Yes,
so,
ma'am.
Yeah. So, but even if you have a passport, you probably need to get that too.
Yes, ma'am. I have a passport because of my work, because acting sends me everywhere.
Yeah.
So I have to constantly have that everywhere in the world. It sends me, so I have to have that constantly. You're right.
Yeah, I was going to say one good thing about what you're saying about the passport. You can actually use the passport to go into government buildings now. So if you don't have the star on your license, if you have a passport, that works as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I wanted the listeners out there to hear that as well. But it's good to get that star to go, unless you want to carry a passport every place you go, especially if you're going on government sites.
Well, speaking of going on government sites, your people, listeners may want to know this too. Do not carry anything like mace or anything like that in your purse.
Okay.
I went to, I was going to tour the White House. No, it's the Capitol.
Uh-huh.
And I had a big bottle of mace in my purse, not knowing.
Uh-huh.
And man, they jammed me up there. They had me held hostage up there in the White House. I mean, in the Capitol. And I was so embarrassed because this guy that I knew that I had worked with, who was he wasn't a general. He was a big name in the military, right? He had all these things on him, and he walked in, and I'm like, oh my God, here I am. They done jacked me up in the Capitol. I'm being held hostage, and so he comes over and he's like, what's going on? So I told him I just had some mace in my bag.
Yeah.
So just for listeners, don't take mace.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't take her.
Did they give it back to you at the end, or they kept it?
Oh no, they threw it away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was this recent or was this last year?
No, I was living in Virginia when I did that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's definitely good to know.
Now,
yes, absolutely.
Well, I'm going to transition to another subject area because I'm thinking about you in real estate, and I'd like for leaving the industry of pharmaceutical sales, and now you're in real estate. Tell us about how that process went for you, the training you went through, and how many houses you sold, and that kind of thing would be great for everyone to know.
Yeah, well, when I retired, well, actually before I retired from the pharma industry, I went ahead and I went to school, the real estate school, and that's a 60-hour process, and then you go and you take the state and national exam.
Okay.
Well, I went to work for a young lady who had a boutique real estate company. It was small, but I really didn't sell. I ran her real estate school.
Okay.
And it got a little complicated. Our relationship became a little complicated, so I left.
Yes, ma'am. Understandable.
2 months ago.
Okay.
So now I'm with the company called Realty South.
Okay.
And I'm going through some training, some extensive training. And it's funny you asked me about that because I'm going over to the office when I leave here. But I had a gentleman to call me this morning, and he's talking to me about the referral process.
Yes.
So this company, which is an excellent company, they also have a referral side.
Okay.
So he's asking me to be a part of the referral. So basically, these people will call in to my phone, and they're looking to buy a house or put their house on the market.
Okay.
So I can decide whether I would take it based on where it is, or I would not take it. And so I asked about the commission process because a lot of times in referrals, people want half of your commission or what have you.
Yes, ma'am.
But it would it's not like that. They'll give me my entire commission. But the process, the real estate industry is a really good industry. Now
Yes,
there is a window of feast, and then there's a window of famine, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So just say from April to about August is the feasting time. People are buying, people are putting their houses on the market. So it's a really good process. Now, in my community where I live here, there's a gentleman who he markets here. I mean, this is his farm area.
Yes, ma'am.
But I plan to kind of take over, at least start, farming here as well.
Yes.
But he sells everything up in here.
Okay.
Now there's a gated area where they start at about $500,000 or more. And I mean, it's like every week he's got something going on up in here.
Yes, ma'am.
But people like that. Now there's also another lady, her name is Joy Chen, I think it is. Her husband is a interventional cardiologist at the University of Alabama, Birmingham, the hospital, right?
Okay.
She is tearing it up.
Yes, ma'am.
She sells so many houses. She's become like a legend in
Okay.
this area, right? But if you can just work it, learn the business, and a lot of it is referral, a lot of it is like people that
Yes, ma'am.
and you can make a lot of money in this industry. But like I said, it's kind of feast and famine-ish.
Yes, ma'am.
But it doesn't have to be total famine-ish. You know,
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
you know what I mean? I mean, if you can work it, you know, you can do very well.
Miss Draper, sorry, let me say this because I think it's important. Miss Draper, what people don't know, my mom doesn't even know this, but I'm about to say it right now for the first time, is on Instagram, wherever I post, the reason I'm asking this is because the area that you need it in, just let me know. Instagram posts wherever I decide to put my location at, anywhere in the world, Instagram puts me there and it shows it to everybody that's there.
Oh, wow.
Wherever, any airport, literally any location I put it at, it spreads it out to everyone in that location. So I get at the lowest amount, I get 100 people looking at the lowest amount.
Wow.
So you definitely want to. What's the company that you work for? What's the name that you want to plug?
Realty South. Realty South. And I do have to. I have my Facebook page set up, but I do have to do I got to get my Instagram page set up. I haven't done that yet.
Okay. And what's the Facebook? Would you say the name of the Facebook page that you have set up?
Yeah, it's Shari Draper at realtysouth.com.
Okay. And if anyone needs to contact you, what is the best way to contact you?
Well, it's probably well, I do now. You can contact me through my Instagram, which is it's kind of crazy.
Yes, okay. Say it.
It's Shaboobie.
Okay, spell that for us, please.
Okay, SHABOOBY, I think it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Shaboobie. Let me tell you how I came about that name.
Okay.
When I was little, do you remember, Carolyn, this cartoon that used to come on called Johnny West?
Yes, I love Johnny West. I love Johnny West.
Do you remember the camel? The camel's name was Shaboobie.
Oh, I forgot what the camel's name was. But Johnny West, I'll show you, Brandon. You probably remember once you see the show.
And my uncles used to call me Shaboobie.
Okay.
So I just used it as an alias.
Hey, it looks good. I like it. I just want to make sure to get your information there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll write it down and I'll send it to you.
Perfect.
So that I don't, make a mistake and send you the wrong information.
Yes, ma'am.
But yeah. So that's it. Okay. Yeah, I would love that. Thank you.
I got you.
The study process for that, being a real estate agent, is that very difficult, or any special things, training as far as that is concerned?
It can and it can't. Well, it can be, but here's what I did, Carolyn. I was always 2 or 3 chapters ahead of the class because I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed reading it. I enjoyed learning about real estate. So I was always 2 or 3 chapters ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
So, and I took there are all these little tests in the back, and after each chapter, I did all of that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And so the first time, now you have to make 70% on the national part, right?
Yes, ma'am.
The first time I took the test, I got 69%.
Okay.
I missed it by 1. So then I went back and I did a crash course, which was, I don't know, about 15 hours or so, but 3 or 4 days. And I went back and I killed it. I mean, I did it so fast that I thought, wait a minute, I had a lot of time left. And I was like, so I went back to make sure. And I killed it the second time.
Yes, ma'am.
It's not hard, Carolyn. I mean, with your background and your mind, girl, you could hit that. You could do it.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think you would be excellent because you have a beautiful personality.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You like people. People like you.
Thank you, Draper.
I think you would do very well.
Yes, ma'am.
Draper, I thank you for putting that out there. And I might think about that. I might think about that. But now with this business, we're focused on, well, Brandon.
Well, one thing I'll say, is this, Miss Draper, I actually fell in love with real estate. I was forced into it by an idiot person that I know that caused me a lot of trouble. It's still to this day. But this person forced me into having to learn real estate and how to sell stuff. And so I actually fell in love with the process of selling homes and all that kind of stuff. I said I was forced into it by an idiot. But I fell in love with the process. Doing that, because of me having to talk to people and have to negotiate houses and stuff like that, I did fall in love with that process. So that is something that I do love. But as I said, I was forced into it by idiot, which I have to say one more time. Because of those circumstances, I had to learn it very fast. And I enjoy the process of selling homes and finding homes.
Well, for me, Brandon, when I first came back to Birmingham, I started buying homes.
Yes, ma'am.
Right now, I have 13 properties that I manage.
Holy smokes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah. Well, my thing,
I didn't know you had 13 properties.
13. And the reason why I decided to do it was because I wanted to have a cushion for my retirement.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And let me tell you, it's been a nice cushion.
Oh, I bet. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah. And it's not bad. I mean, if you ever want to get some rental properties, what have you, Carolyn or Brandon, every state has what is called something called a land bank.
Okay.
And that's where the state actually sell properties or land that, because they don't want to be they don't want to be realtors. They
Yes,
want to
ma'am.
get rid of it. But
Yes,
then they
ma'am.
don't want all of this stuff being a blight on the communities.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Yes.
So they sell them to people, in hopes that, they're going to go ahead and fix it up and maybe live there or rent it out or sell it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And that keeps the communities nice.
Okay.
Oh,
Right?
wow.
And then you can also go down to your local courthouse every year. They have, and you can buy this really thick book of people that didn't pay their property taxes, right?
Yes, ma'am.
My very
Love
first
that.
house that I bought it for $1,200. It was,
Wow.
it was, the people had not paid the taxes on it, right?
Wow.
I paid the taxes, which is $1,200.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
fixed it up. Guess what it's worth now?
What?
I can only imagine.
41,000.
Wow.
41,000. That doesn't sound like a lot, but
you
when
turned
he
that.
went, I turned $1,200 into 41,000, and it may be even more than that now.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Draper, it's funny. Oh, sorry. It's funny you mentioned that because of said idiot that I'm talking about, I was forced to have to do the same thing.
Do the
What basically keep from losing the property, had to do that.
yeah. Oh wow, yeah. Well, you can always redeem it. Did you know that?
We'll see what happens here. I think the
Okay.
Lord's blessed me in other avenues, and
Yeah.
so and God made it. I'm not talking.
Yeah.
God made a way for us, and so
Yeah.
I'm gonna get things are getting redeemed right now. This show is being one of them. Had that idiot not done that, I wouldn't be doing this right now. So
Okay. Well, see, one door closed, another one opens.
yes, ma'am.
That's always the
Through
case.
turmoil.
Yeah, I always think that Lord has a way, out of no way for you at that time, or for one at that time. But I want to ask you, have you had any issues with tenants because you have these properties, and that's what I want to know, that side too.
Hold on.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
I had one tenant, and this is going to surprise you, but I think they're somewhere in South Carolina right now. I think they're in Columbia.
Okay.
So I had rented the house out to this young lady, and she was a friend. She was my cousin's best friend. So I, went ahead and rented out to her.
Yeah.
And so she stayed there she had about 3 or 4 kids, and she stayed there for about 4 months, 4, maybe 5 months.
Yes, ma'am.
So her parents had come to visit her. Her father, her stepfather was a pastor, right? So that meant mom was first lady. So she said, Sherry, my parents are here. They want to stay here for a minute, but about 3 months. Is it okay for me to sublease it to my parents? And I met these people, they seemed like really nice people. I said, well, sure. So I went up, talked with them, we wrote up the lease and what have you, and gave them a break on the price. So they paid the first month. And so after the 15th, you have a late fee because I give them that grace period.
Yes, ma'am.
So it was the 15th, and I'll never forget it. It was on a Sunday. So I sent them a message and I said, hey, so-and-so, it's the 15th and you haven't paid your rent. So they send me this horrible message back, don't, you shouldn't be contacting us on a Sunday. We've been to church, yada, 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 yada. So
Wow.
I'm like, wait a minute now.
Yeah.
So wait a minute now. This is like
Yeah. Hold
judgment.
up.
So we went back and forth, and she was the, you've seen those women who is the bully in the relationship.
Oh, she's that.
She was the bully in the relationship, right?
Holy smokes.
Yeah. So he let her handle everything, even though I had been dealing with him.
Yes, ma'am.
So we just went. It got really, really bad. They decided they weren't going to pay any more rent.
Holy! After the first month?
After the first month. So I said, well, hold on a second. Now you signed a contract. And she comes back and tells me, well, we didn't promise to pay any more than we've already paid. I'm
what?
Like,
This the contract said that you were paying them.
Exactly. So it just got so crazy. And they were right up the street from my mom.
Oh,
and, we would she would call me, and it just got really, really ugly.
Oh, wow.
So they finally moved back. They finally moved back to South Carolina, I think Columbia.
Yes, ma'am.
And so that's where they are now. But I never got another penny.
Did you have to, if you don't mind me asking, did you have to do a, what's it called, unlawful detainer? Is that what it is?
Well, I did go and talk with the sheriff.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I told him, the situation. And he said to me, he said, Miss Draper, it'll probably take you about 6 months or more to get them out of there.
Holy smokes. That's always a scary part.
Wow.
But see, here's the thing though. Our governor here, Governor Kay Ivey, has put a bill out now where the landlord has all the rights now. Because
that's great.
The tenants had the rights.
Yes,
you couldn't put a tenant out.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I mean, there were things, as nice a person as I think I am.
Yes, ma'am.
There are things that go through your mind that you want to do. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And
honestly, Miss Draper, I do know what you mean.
okay,
about
right?
to make you come out of your Christianness.
Exactly. And here I am dealing with some supposedly Christian people.
Can be the worst sometimes.
Man, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't. But that was my only part. That's the only problem I've ever had.
But basically, tenants are great. I mean, you've had.
They are. I knock on wood because I've had some great. I haven't had any problems.
Yes,
ma'am. The only one.
That's good to hear. It's good to hear that scary story, but it's good to hear the positive part of not only the commission, but you've given housing, not given, but they renting your houses.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful to hear those stories as well.
Oh, yeah. So I have really good tenants. I really do.
Ma'am. I'm happy for you. I'm sorry that one nightmare situation happens. I know that's you sound like a great landlord, because there are there's a lot of slumlords out there. So it's great to know that you actually are a great one. One of my landlords is amazing. I love him to death. He's like, he's family. He called me when his daughter passed away. Like, he really, when we talk scripture back and forth with each other, he's really a great man. And that's such a rare thing to find sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I could never be a slumlord.
Yes,
because
ma'am.
I could never imagine my child or anyone in my family living in those conditions.
Yes.
And I always try to make, I think all of my tenants will tell you, when there's a problem, I'm on it immediately.
Yes, ma'am.
And there are, a couple of my tenants that are just really, really good. I have this one guy. I mean, he will run me down at the first of the month, in December at Christmas time, I'll give them breaks.
Yes, ma'am. That's sweet.
Say, hey, thank you for being a good tenant.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, because people, it's just the way life is right now, and the way life's always been. People have ups and downs sometimes, and people aren't making it necessarily what they should be making. So it's hard. Minimum wage, for instance, in California, minimum wage doesn't cover rent for most people.
I know.
You have to work 2 jobs. So it's like, it's a blessing when you have, and even in New York too, it's a blessing when you have someone that's like, hey, you know what? I understand.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to give you a break. And they end up being blessed for it too.
Yeah. Especially at Christmas time,
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
One other question I need to ask you relative to real estate. Are you just with Alabama, or you can sell all over the United States?
No. In order to sell in other states, you have to have something called a reciprocal license.
Oh, okay.
And I plan, and the only thing you have to do with the reciprocal license is you just have to pass their state exam.
Okay.
Because remember, when you take your exam, you're taking the state and the national.
Oh, okay.
So as long as you have your license, all you need is a license in that particular state, which would be a reciprocal license.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So if we have listeners out there wanting to buy a home in another state, they can contact you, and you will, but you say you don't have that reciprocal license.
No, I don't have, no.
Oh, okay.
I plan to get a reciprocal license in Georgia.
Yes,
okay. That's, 3 hours for me, I could go back and forth there, but that's probably about it. But, I had a property over in Atlanta at one time, right?
I remember.
And the girl that sold my property over there for me, she has a reciprocal license in California and Georgia.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
From California, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that a good market that you're in, Alabama?
It's an okay market.
Yeah.
But that Atlanta market is nice.
Oh yeah, I bet, because
nice.
All the movie business has moved over there.
You got movie business, you got that rapper business, that entertainment business, and you just got Black people over there that are doing it.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, making a lot of money.
Yes, ma'am. I work with Tyler Perry a lot down in Atlanta.
Okay.
Actually, I work with a lot of different directors and movies people, but I work in Atlanta a lot.
But you've seen what Atlanta has to offer as far as the way those people over there living.
Oh yeah, well yes, ma'am. I know that if you're making Hollywood money in Atlanta, you're wealthy. You're not even like rich. You're wealthy.
Yeah. Well, and you don't even have to be making Hollywood money over there. I mean, a lot of people over there have businesses. Like I've got some cousins over there.
Yes,
have you ever heard of this veterinary center over there called the Village Vet?
No, I have. When I'm there, it's only for work, so I don't really know too much about. Yes, ma'am.
Well, my cousin owns a Village Vet.
Okay.
And then he's got his sister is a professor and a doctor at Emory.
Holy smokes!
And over at Grady, and she calls herself Grady Doc. So they're very, very, very popular over there.
Okay.
But they have done very well.
Throw their business name out there one more time for the world.
For his business is the Village Vet.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think there are like 5 locations over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So.
Any questions you want to ask us, Shari, before we wrap it up with you? Any questions you'd like to ask us today?
Well, I'd like to say thank you so much for having me on.
Yes,
This
ma'am.
has just been amazing. Years ago, I did a podcast with NPR.
Okay.
And I was thinking, you know, when doing this, I was like, oh my God, please don't make me cry. Because I'm a crybaby.
Okay. Oh, we have that on the show all the time.
Oh my God. I did not want to cry because I did cry, you know, talking about my mother on the NPR podcast. But this has just been amazing. And I want to thank both of you for allowing me to come on and just, you know, talk about my life and some things that I've done.
Absolutely, Miss Draper. Yeah, Miss Draper, you're always welcome back on. Don't worry about crying. I've cried several times on this podcast talking about my dad.
Okay. Oh, your dad was. Dave was my buddy.
Oh man, yeah.
You know, I used to take him Buffalo Rock.
Oh, that's where I would get the Buffalo Rocks from. I drank all of those. Thank you. Oh my God. Yeah, I would drink those Buffalo Rocks. It comes in a yellow can and it's red on the top. Yeah, I drank more of those Buffalo Rocks because of you. I can't thank you enough. I love that soda.
Well, that soda is it's an Alabama thing. And you have to be careful when you're drinking it because it has so much ginger in it.
Yes, ma'am.
Drink it and breathe. It'll come out of your nose.
Yes, ma'am. Miss Draper, I did not know that. Dad probably told me that, and it might have slipped my mind. But thank you so much, because even when Dad, on his last days, we were drinking that Buffalo Rock.
Yeah. When he came down, he brought his father down. He brought his father down one time, and I met him with 2 cases of it.
Yo, Bishop Smith, Edward Smith. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and then one time I came to Virginia and I brought him some.
Yes, ma'am. I drink them every single. I forgot about Buffalo Rock. You just unlocked the core memory. I hadn't thought about it since Dad was around. Yeah.
And if you have some stomach issues, drink a Buffalo Rock and you're good to go.
Oh wow.
And I think that was so great to hear that his dad did like that drink because he had pancreatic cancer, but he was able to drink that and get something in himself, and he felt better with it. So to know that you brought that up and know that it impacted Dave's life when he was really going to that last stage of cancer. I'm so glad to hear that today,
me
Brandon.
too, man. That makes
Did you ever get Bluebell ice cream? Now that Bluebell ice cream, you remember when you got some and tried to bring it back?
Girl,
I guess you go. Tell me, do they have Bluebell ice cream now where you are?
Carolyn, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Bluebell originated in Louisiana. And my parents used to go down and visit her cousin in Shreveport. And she would bring that Bluebell back in but now we have it in Alabama. Okay. You guys should have it in North Carolina by now.
Oh, interesting. I guess I might have to convince you to give me some of this Rolling Rock, by the way, sidebar.
Rolling Rock? No, Buffalo Rock.
Buffalo Rock.
Yeah. But if you're ever, anytime you want some, just let me know.
Yes,
but,
ma'am.
If you ever, I'm sure you're going to go back to North Carolina, get you some of that Bluebell ice cream. Brandon, you're probably too young to remember this, or I don't even know if you've ever had this before, but back in the day, we used to have the ice cream makers that you crank.
Oh,
right?
No, I didn't know that.
Did you remember that, Carolyn?
Yes, we had that. Well, we had one similar to that, what you're saying.
And then it became electric.
That's
but that
correct.
homemade ice cream,
Yes,
the Bluebell vanilla ice cream tastes exactly like
it
old
really
fashioned
Oh,
does.
wow.
It
homemade
really
ice cream.
does.
Okay.
Yeah,
And the
just the
first,
vanilla.
yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
and the first time I ever had it was when I went to Texas. And my brother said, "Oh, child, you have to taste this Bluebell ice cream." And
Yes.
I said, "Okay." And when I tasted that ice cream, had a taste, it reminded me of a little girl. It brings
Yep.
back that flavor of a
That memory.
child.
That's right.
When we
That's
had the
right.
old timey way
That's
of
right.
using the best products to make ice cream. So yes, I love that ice cream.
Yeah.
Well, I think anything
Yeah.
else you want to ask?
Well,
me?
Miss Draper, you've been absolutely amazing. I've literally seen your pictures for years on Facebook because we've been Facebook friends forever.
Yeah.
So I've always seen your picture. I think you even wrote me something when Dad passed. So I appreciate that too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And then you're welcome back on here anytime. I said it's our show. We own it. And so you're able to always come on here and talk freely.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for
All
coming
right.
on too.
And thank
Guys
you
have a
so much
wonderful
for
day.
and thank you so
Neil,
much
come
for
and say
your
hi.
time. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, bring
invite
Neil.
right
Yeah,
here.
let me
Neil,
see
right quick,
Neil.
quick.
Hi.
Hey, Neil, what's up, man? I'm Brandon.
And I'm Mama Rush. Oh, it's so nice meeting you, Neil.
Yeah, nice meeting you, buddy.
Nice
So
meeting
many
you.
positive things about you, Neil. I've heard so much about Neil. He's so smart.
Yeah,
man.
that looks like it.
Positive things about Neil. And I guess this time of life, he gives you so much energy to do so many things and meet so many other people out there. Hey, Neil. Neil?
Yes.
Come on,
Yes,
Neil.
ma'am.
You ready for? Oh, see how?
Yes, ma'am. I like that.
Yes, ma'am. Already, manners galore. I love you. I've seen your pictures. You're so handsome. Well, you stay in there and do your best work at school, okay, Neil?
Hey, Neil. One more thing. I work in television, buddy. So if there's any celebrity you kind of want to meet sometime or get a video from, let me know. I could probably go talk to him.
I'm going to show you next time he's on TV, okay?
Okay.
That sounds good, buddy. Take care, man. Keep being great.
All righty. Thank you all so much.
Thank you too. We're giving you a clap, Miss Draper.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care, Miss Draper. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See, stop that, and then stop.